Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. This is going to be a review of the Winchester XPR, specifically this one in 270. Now this model I bought because it was camouflage and not because it was specifically the KUIU camouflage. I'm not exactly a KUIU fanboy, but I do love their backpacks. I have two, or actually three backpacks from KUIU. I like them because they are very lightweight. So this KUIU camouflage pattern on the rifle is the same one here, just in miniature version. When I started doing research on the XPR, it checked almost every box I have for my preferences in a bolt gun. So first and foremost, we got the small ejection port. I like that. It's got a safety positioned on the right hand side, what I call the Remington position, right here. And it's got a 70-degree bolt throw. I do like that because it will easily clear the bell housing of your scope, the ocular side. I think that's the right word, ocular. It will clear that side. Not for speed, it's just simply for ease of use in case, because some scopes have a larger rear end back here. And in this case, the bolt is locked when it's on safe. You cannot open the bolt, but there is a button on the side that you can push forward and unlock it while on safe. So that's always nice. Additionally, we have a 24-inch barrel, and that will maximize your velocities, especially on your 30-06, 270, 25-06, 300 Win Mag, 7 Rim Mag, those type cartridges. Does it really matter that much? No, but it was a nice touch. The receiver and barrel have a gray permacoat, is what they call it, and I don't think it's as tough as a Cerakote. I believe this part right here has worn off a bit because there's a way I can mount this in my backpack, and this slips through a strap, and it's real tight on the barrel, so when you're walking, you know, thousands of steps, this just I think it wiggled out and wore through the finish. But other than that, this checked all my boxes. Oh, detachable magazine. And the trigger is adjustable. You can adjust the weight and over travel of the trigger. So if you don't like the way it comes out of the box, which mine is perfectly fine out of the box. Now the two features that are non-negotiable, it's got to be accurate, it's got to have a good trigger pull. So let's test out this trigger pull. First, let's just do a little manual here, see how it just kind of feels. And the trigger feels great because the trigger is wide. It feels like a target trigger on a revolver. Back in the day when you had target revolvers, they had really wide triggers, and that's what this kind of feels like. And I can't hardly tell my finger moves and it fires. It feels really light. Let's put a number to that. 3.5. 3.25. 3.25. So 3.25, not bad. Not crazy light, but not heavy either. And it feels lighter than 3.5, 3.25, just because of that width on that trigger. Now for accuracy, is the gun accurate? That is where the rubber meets the road. If you've got a bad trigger and an accurate barrel, you can still shoot accurately. If you have a great trigger and an inaccurate barrel, it's not really going to matter. The rounds I've used in this mostly, or the most of the rounds that I've used, has been this ammo that I do not believe has been made anymore. Bitterroot Valley Ammunition Company, I think that's what it is. But it was a cartridge made with the Federal Fusion bullet. Now, I also have the Federal Fusion load, the same load. Let's see if we can get that to focus. So, this bullet are in these cartridges. I found these during 2020 when ammunition was scarce, and it was about a 10 round case, and I bought the case, so I had like 200 rounds. Maybe it was 12 boxes, whatever it was. It was a bunch of boxes, and I still got about half of them left. So, do they shoot? Well, this target is 200 yards. BVAC ammo right here, 1.75. 200 yards, 1.75. 1.58. 2.31 after the wind had kicked up. That's why it's strung out left to right, I believe. That's my story anyway. Now these two groups, this one and this one, you ignore, because I was shooting that off of a bipod in a manner that I don't normally shoot, and so my groups opened up dramatically, so I'm pretty much not going to shoot that way. But anywho, 3.9 with the BVAC ammo, and this one was with the Federal load, 2.85, which wouldn't be bad. That's still sub 3 inches at 200 yards. That wouldn't be terrible, but it was off the bipod, like I said, in a manner I was experimenting with shooting in a different manner. Obviously, it didn't work for me. So, for the purposes of this video, I did shoot some other ammo. This is going to be at 100 yards. So, 100 yards, these are 100 yards. We have Federal Fusion, 130 grain. So it's the 130 grain version of the Federal Fusion. So we got 1.55. Then we got the Federal Blue Box over here. It did not like. 2.73. Just did not like those 130 grainers there. But then the Federal Fusion, 1.32 right there, and the BVAC, 1.11. So it shot the various loads pretty darn well, and it shoots that BVAC into usually less than 2 inches at 200 yards. So I can safely say that this is an MOA gun. I think a couple comparisons with my other trusty 270, the Remington 710, are in order. So, like it's both magazine fed, both have a shorter than 90-degree bolt throw. This one's bolt does not lock when it is on safe. This one weighs 8 pounds, 12 ounces as it sits like this. They both have the same scope, and this one is 8 pounds, 10 ounces with scope mounted, just like this, no sling. So same scope. This one's 2 ounces lighter, even though the barrel, which was one of the other attractors to me for this gun, is 24 inches. So that means you're going to get everything out of a 270 you're going to get out of a 270 with that 24-inch barrel. Does the 2 inches matter on the 710? Any real world difference? No, it does not. No deer is going to know the difference. So this one had really checked all the boxes with that locking bolt, everything except stainless steel. If it had stainless steel, I would probably have one in stainless steel, regardless if it was cheaper with the black stock or the camo stock. The magazines between these two guns, here's the XPR magazine. Look how narrow that joker is compared to the 710. Here's 2 magazines for the XPR. Now these only hold 3 rounds. This holds 4 in the 710. But I can almost throw 2 of these in my pocket for the same cost of this, and I got 6 rounds instead of 4. Do I recommend this gun? 100%. Absolutely. I would recommend the Winchester XPR, assuming the other samples of this gun are as good as this one? Absolutely. This one has been my workhorse for the last 5 years or so. The stock on this is nice and it's stiff, really stiff for a cheap economical stock. The barrel is full floated. The stock is stiff. The stock is actually kind of flat on the bottom, so it rests on things well. It's not trying to roll off like this because it's too rounded. It settles nicely on sandbags. It settles nicely across your pack. Big, fat bolt right here. It's smooth, unlike the 710 that has drag. You basically have to pull the bolt backwards, which doesn't bother me at all. Like I said in the previous video on the 710, I do recommend the XPR. They are a great bang for your buck firearm. Hope you liked this video. If you did, give us that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down there, and as always, thanks for watching.